Hi everyone, I'm Natalia and welcome to my channel. This is a viewer request and it's an interesting one. She gave me an idea and thank you so much for giving me this idea on Instagram. And I didn't want to do this video first because um, it's about my personal creation of Marina Abramovic Oracle deck, which is my personal Oracle deck that I have created for myself and my relationship to and love affair with Marina. And this viewer wanted to hear more because she also loves Marina. And I know a lot of people do love Marina Abramovic's work. And she wanted to hear more about my inspiration behind it. And I didn't want to do a video because this deck is not for sale. And I will explain why I cannot sell this deck. And I don't feel it's the right thing to sell this deck. But I do have copies of it that have gone to a very dear friends of mine. So I'm always very cautious and mindful when I share and show this deck because people tend to ask me where they can get it or how can they purchase one. And I feel like it's a big tease. But then I decided to still do this video because I feel that it can inspire a lot of you to create your own Oracle deck. And I'll share how my process was. And I think a lot of us can be just creatively inspired. So that's the video for that. My love affair with Marina Abramovic and how I went about creating my Oracle deck. So sit back, enjoy, get something to drink. It's going to be enjoyable personal video. I'm casting. I completely forgot. I had this plastic gorgeous clip-ons that I picked out. I think I picked them up on my trip with my family in France. I have some other necklaces by a similar brand. They're very lightweight and plastic, but they're gorgeous. I forgot I had them. This is what happens when you start to put all of your jewelry and organize it. You discover things you didn't get. So I'm wearing this gorgeous, one of my favorite colors is kind of, not the slight dark cobalt blue is my favorite color. But anyway, jewelry aside, Marina. Before I show and share with you my deck, I um, I didn't become aware about Marina and um, her her whole beautiful and amazing and very fresh and challenging perspective on her artistic body work until probably I would say 15 years ago. My husband actually went when we were in New York. We traveled to New York because I have a sister in New York City, and we were in New York many years ago. And he actually went when they had in MoMA, when they had the artist is present exhibition. He actually went to see it. At that point, I didn't even know who Marina was, believe it or not, which I'm really bummed out. I missed it. Otherwise, what an incredible experience that must have been. So my husband actually, although he didn't sit across from her, if you ever seen the Artist is Present documentary, highly recommend it. But he did experience a lot of the installations and really enjoyed it. So it was my husband actually who pointed me toward Marina, as he often does, points me to a lot of artistic things. David is architect and he reads a lot of on design, a lot on creative, and he's always in a flow of discovering artists and reading about artists. And I'm very fortunate because by being married to him by proxy, I then get a chance to discover this artist because David always shares with me what he read, what he finds interesting, which I just think is really phenomenal. Marina then was here in Los Angeles here in the Getty Museum, and she was giving a talk because she just published her autobiography, Walk Through the Walls. And David said, Marina Abramovic is going to be in the Getty. Let's get tickets. Do you want to go see her talk? And I was like, who is this woman? And he's like, no, we're just going to go. You trust me. We have got to go see this. And so I said, sure. So we went and I just sat the whole time, probably with my mouth open, completely drooling and salivating, hearing this woman talk, hearing the sense of confidence and ownership and self-awareness come from her mouth. her being able to be unafraid to share her opinions, no matter how they may not be some things that everybody would agree with, her ability to be able to speak her mind, her ability to be able to tell her story, all of those things captivated with me. Somehow I saw myself, so much of me in Marina. I'm not saying me and Marina are identical or alike by any means, of course not, for our individual selves. But I felt the resonance of familiar frequency, if you will, coming from her that I knew I also had within me. Of course, David got me the book. I read it and fell even more in love with her as an artist. Once I fall in love with people in my life, I go down rabbit hole of searching and collecting information. I watch documentary, walk through the I think it's actually called The Artist is Present. I watched another documentary on her. I started looking at her artwork and I started to fall in love with her more and more. And then somebody I'm friends on Instagram also recommended me this book. It is Psychoanalyst Miss Marina Abramovic. It's a conversation between a psychoanalyst, Jeanette Fisher, and Marina Abramovic, and me being psychoanalytically trained. This was a fascinating read to have. So I just fell in love. There was this resonance of frequencies that I had with her. And you know that you have your own resonance of frequency with other artists in your life. It could be musician. It's the same way that I have a resonance frequency to Nina Simone and her sadness and nostalgia for something within her heart. It's the same way I have resonance to Leonard Cohen. We all have resonance to certain people that we see in our lives. And there's a reason for that. Oftentimes the resonance is there because they're mirroring back to us essences of who we also are. And our essence is probably very similar to theirs. There's some similar threads that unites us, and our soul recognizes that thread. And for that reason, our soul is driven in that direction. I have created Marina Abramovic Oracle. Oh my God, I have to look it up, guys. Sorry. Because, oh no, I have it. No, do I have it? Did I put dates? Let me see. Sometimes I date things. No, I don't have dates. So I know that Instagram is going to have it because I have the whole Oracle on Instagram in my, and it will show me when was the first time I posted it, I hope. And that way we'll know when it was created. So it was March 2nd, 2021. So 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I actually did not plan to create an oracle at all. I did not plan to create Marina Abramovic Oracle at all. I am not, I'm very, very creative. I wouldn't call myself, let me actually take it back. I would definitely call myself artistic. I need to own that because I'm definitely artistic. My skill set is not in drawing or painting. But I found at the time that working with collage was something that I really enjoyed. Working with collage really fascinated me. And it was really something that my design I could do and put together and helped me to have access to a lot of images. And so I started working with collage. And especially what I started to do at the time is I started to have a notebook like this one. And I would draw a mandala. A mandala is basically really a circle, and it's something within a circle. So I would draw a circle, and then within that circle, I would create collage. And so one day I was creating a collage. So here's one. This was on a new moon in Aries, and I had a lot of tarot decks that I just could discard. I had a deck, Mary L. tarot decks that I messed up on, so I used the card for collage and Haindel tarot. So I started collaging within a circle, and one afternoon, I ended up being somehow drawn to some images I found of Marina Abramovic. As you know, Marina has a ton of her work out there for public display. There's a ton of her access to her images that you can get. And so I saw this image. Sorry, let me just move this because I'm afraid I'm going to knock this down. So I saw this image of her being coiled in snakes and biting a snake, and I fell in love with it. And so I create this mandala, and it's actually, if you can see, it's a texturized mandala because this is actual real feather. This two 10 of I believe this is 10 of wands and 10 of swords from Marielle, and then I had this stickers that I used, camera catch it, with the keywords on it. So this one says, remember you remember your wings, photograph this earth. And this one I titled perspective, because this is all about being able to see high above when you lose that perspective, when you're so anxious and worried, and all you're seeing is now, how can you remember your wings? How can you zone out and see a bigger picture? So when I created this first mandala, I, without even realizing it, went on, and at this point, I'm not even thinking about making an oracle, to create a second mandala. I found this image of Marina that I love. This, as we know, is from Marielle Tarot. Oh, and this one is called Sight. Once I created two Marina mandalas, I felt, I realized that the images I was finding of Marina were inspiring me, and I was able to look at the images on internet. So I'll go to Google and I'll pull down Marina Abramovic or Marina Abramovic photographs or Marina Abramovic artwork, and a whole bunch of images will pop up. I was able to look at the images and immediately see what I wanted to create around it, and immediately have a keyword tied to that image. So like this one is sight, and this one is more about witchcraft and being connected to that internal side, being connected to being able to see with the third eye. When I created two mandalas, I decided, why don't I just go ahead and make an oracle out of this? At first, it wasn't even an oracle. It was more keep going with the mandalas. This was right before my 40s. No, was it? I think it was around my 40th birthday. I ended up creating, I think 40 cards. Here's another one called Primal. And so what I would do is okay, there we go. Okay. So what I end up doing is I would end up finding images of Marina that I loved. And I would create, I love this one. I love this one so much. This is when you are hiding from the world. It's called theft, when you are constantly pretending to be persona, and what you don't realize is in pretending to be persona, you're stealing from yourself because you're not showing up your authentic self. So as I started creating more and more, something started to happen. And I noticed that each one of her images really kind of was very significant to me. Each one told a story. I always put Marina in the center. She was always a focal point and center of mandala, because this is her oracle. So here she is coming out of that big mouth with a knife in her hand. This one called sadism. That's when we're being sadistic. Here's another one. So this process was a little bit of a mania, to be honest. It felt like a mania. I could not sleep. I had ideas. Images would stay with me. They would not leave me. I was in completely under influence of whatever muse, whichever muse. I love this one. She's holding, I painted her gloves red, and she's holding a vagina. Oops. Let the camera adjust. Sorry, guys. Let's see if it's going to do on the other one. So whoever visited me that night, whatever muse visited, this is the backs of the oracle, by the way. There we go. Whoever visited me that during this creation process stayed with me until I completed 40 plates of this artwork. And again, Marina is, oh, I love this one. Oh, I love, 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 love this one. It's called Resistance. She has a gun pointing to her head and she's still standing strong because everybody needs her milk. I love this one. Oh, being true to yourself. This one is called Vanity. Look at this. You're in a glam jail. Sometimes I will just see an image and then I'll put Marina's head into an image. So this is number 16. Let me show you guys the rest. So this whole process took, some of you might not believe it when I'm going to tell you this, but this whole process of creating 40 plates took me, I believe, 1 or 2 weeks. It did not take long. It felt like it really wanted to come out. I love this one, Critique. I put Marina in a TV. She's part of the Aphrodite's body, and there's a woman sitting there, and all this ice. It's the way we criticize ourselves as a women. We criticize our body. We criticize our face. We criticize how we look, and how we don't even realize that before we know it, we have created our own blockbuster films that nobody, it's all in our heads. A lot of times it's all in our heads. So I stopped at 30, I think I stopped at 36 cards. And then it just kept going. And I knew that there was more and I knew that I had to finish it. And so ended up being 40 cards. I love this one. This is from Balenciaga show a long time ago when they had Balenciaga latex suits. Women wear latex suits and they were carrying these babies. So I put Marina's face inside this latex suit and she's coming out of this Lego collage of a guy. And it's basically ownership. It's about owning your body and owning rights to your body and not letting any man, who is, by the way, a puppeteer anyways of politics, to dictate to you what to do with your body. So it's a very, very strong card. I don't even know where did I get the ideas and thoughts. I just knew that I would see an image and I would have an idea and I knew what the keywords to go with it. This is about patience. She's inside of this decaying tooth and the clock is shattered by knife. And this is about how sometimes being patient is painful. It is painful to sit and wait for things, but it is so important. This one is called Listen. It's about going inwards, being silent, going away from the city noise, and just really listening to your internal self and trusting the process. This one is called Toxins. She's holding 2 hearts. I can't believe I found this image of Marina holding 2 hearts, and there's this garbage perfumes. This is detox. It's about detoxing your inner shit, your inner thoughts. This is acceptance. So it's a naked image of Marina I found. And then what I did, I superimposed it and I put Marina into her hands and then Marina into her hands. So it's like Matryoshka doll nested within. And she's holding this mirror, right, of reflection that we see as women and that we don't accept ourselves. My absolute favorite card of all time called Power. I found this is a very famous Marina's body work where she has a star cut out, literally cut out on her stomach. And what I did is I put a crown on her and then I put her inside Ouroboros and I cast all this danger tape because women are powerful. Women are dangerous. Women are being feared. I love this card. This is a one called Self-Pleasure. I found this gorgeous image of Marina and this right here. Gosh. I'm drawing a blank right now. It's a G, stands for G-spot. So this is all about giving yourself self-pleasure, loving yourself, giving yourself orgasms. This is release, so it's about meditation and not letting all the external voices sink in. I put her inside Medusa head. This is called Fragile. I put her inside. I got this image of Marina holding a gorgeous little lamb, baby lamb, and it gave me such a sense of fragility, and it reminded me how we're being fragile with ourselves. So I put her inside this egg, holding this lamb, and then there's this big dragon outside of it. I love this one. This is control. This is about how we are controlling everything around us, but we end up caging ourselves in it. I love this one. I remember really loving creating it and having so much fun. This one is called Play. He's a little devil. Go ahead and play. Just let it all go. Here she actually looks like Demi Moore. It's called Presence, to be present with yourself. Love this one called Commitment. Marry yourself. Commit to yourself. This is card 35. This one is called Provoke. How can you artistically provoke somebody? Not provoke in a sense of doing something that is shocking, but how can you think outside the box, create outside the box, be creative? Look at this. So this was quite a process to create. It was really fascinating to create. The last cards, I felt like they needed to be burst. Card number 29, before we come to an end, there's 40 cards. So the two last cards were very significant and they needed to happen. This one is called Descent. Just like Inanna, she's descending, going into underworld voluntarily because she realizes the change it's going to bring. And the final card is Ascent. I found this gorgeous picture of Marina in this gold dress from the back, and she's now coming back from underworld, and she has left a part of herself that no longer serves her behind. So there we go. Hello, everybody. Let me put it up a little bit higher. Okay, so this is what I did. I went on to create 40 plates, and I just was in the state of complete muse taking control over me. I couldn't sleep. I barely ate. I just wasn't in my room. I was creating. I just was in my zone. And it's amazing to be married to somebody who's also very creative, who totally gets the process. And I have such a luxury as somebody who doesn't have kids, doesn't want to have kids, so has that luxury and freedom of having the time to be able to do this. And it was really, really powerful. Anybody who ever created an oracle deck or tarot deck, it is so powerful to do that. I can't even explain. It changes you, it transforms you, it metamorphosizes you, it turns you into a completely different person. And I encourage all of you to do it. And what I did is I created 40 plates. And this was so easy to make your oracle. And then what I did, I photographed them with my iPhone. I enhanced each image definition so it looks sharp, and enhanced a little bit colors so they look bolder. And then I uploaded them to Make Playing Cards. I selected circular format. They all have the same bags. And I chose them in plastic gloss finish, so they're vibrant and waterproof. And I made this booklet. I love this so much, how it turned out. And the booklet is, in the beginning, I have this image of Marina, and I share about the oracle. And then it goes into each card and a short paragraph of what the cards mean for me. And in the end, I love the end so much. I give credits to the images. I share a little bit about Marina, how to work with the oracle, as if my friends don't know. But this is my favorite. I found these images of Marina, so I shared how there will be times when you will have to carry your own self on your back throughout this process. There will be times when your old self is going to mess with you, make it more challenging for you. And there are times when yourself will die and when you have to honor that part of you has died. I love those three end pieces in the oracle. So I did all of this with make plain cards, uploaded, selected the format. It in the beginning was quite costly because I had to have proofs, and they still never turned out perfect. All my friends have, it's a little bit, they're not always perfect. There's a little bit of black on the side where they didn't bleed necessarily where it's supposed to bleed. I settled on imperfect deck because it's a personal deck. I'm not selling it, and it's for my friends only. And so, you know what, I'm okay. If I'm okay with it being imperfect, my friends are going to have to deal with it being imperfect because it is what it is, and they're getting a gift from me. This is how I saw it. But here's why I couldn't sell it. First of all, I didn't want to sell it because it's so personal. I didn't want other people to have it because it's just very personal. Second of all, as you already noticed on some of the cards, I use Mary L. Tarot. I use, obviously, Marina Abramovic images, and I use images snatched from internet of other artists. I did email and was able to get a hold of Marie White and say, hey, I'm creating this oracle. I use some of your cards images. I don't plan on selling it or making profit off of it. I created you in a book, but I do plan to print them out and give them as gifts for my friends. Is that okay with you? And she was wonderful. She said, absolutely, go for it. I emailed Marina Abramovic Institute and also told them what my plans are. Never heard back, but you do your best. You do your best diligence to give credit when credit due. And in the booklet, I thank numerous other artists whose images I snatch, who I don't even know who they are. So for this reason, I didn't feel like I could sell it. Sure, one can argue this is different because you're taking images from public domain and you're assembling them together in your own authentic way. But for me, it just didn't feel kosher. And honestly, it's so personal. It was never created for mass market. I don't even know how it reads for my friends. For all I know, for some of my friends who have the stack, it probably reads wacky because it was created by me and by some psychic forces within me. And they may just have it and treasure it because they love me and we're good friends. And for some friends, it might read really well. But this was a project of so much love and so much connection to Marina. And I love having Marina Abramovic Oracle. At the time I got so creative and inspired. I wanted to create a Robert Mapplethorpe Oracle, all in black and white. That is going to be very sovereign, very Lilith-oriented, powerful deck. And I started, but the images were taking me in direction of being too literal, and I dropped it because I didn't want it to be too literal. So I felt that I wasn't ready to reinterpret his beautiful photography in a more artistic, my own way, and having my own vision. So that might still happen. I really encourage all of you, if you have been thinking about creating an oracle deck, and if you feel like you're not artistic, you can't draw and paint, guess what? So can't I. Collaging is an amazing, fantastic way to get creative. It's amazing, fantastic way to let yourself go. It's so powerful. You'd be surprised what you're going to learn about yourself. You'd be surprised what you're going to uncover. In the beginning, getting it right and make playing cards might cost a little bit, but and of course, if you're going to distribute, it's going to cost you. It was like, I think $300 or $400 to distribute it to friends. I think I printed like 10 copies of it. But for me, it was meaningful and was a gift. It was well worth it, but you don't have to distribute it, and you can't just end up have a copy for yourself. So really encourage, if you love Marina as much as I do, what is your story with her? Why do you love her artwork so much? She's one of the women that has influenced me so much over the years. She reminds me to never be afraid to speak up, to never be afraid to be me, and to show up as my authentic self. And that is priceless when you have a mentor that inspires you to do that. So hopefully this video inspired some of you to get creative, inspired some of you to think about an artist out there that's the same for you when you look at their images as Marina did for me. I still now comes across some of her images and I think, what do you call it? What do people call that when they create a deck and then they create like additional 5 or 10 more cards to the deck? Is it like an addition pack, companion pack, addition pack? Sometimes I still think, oh, more, but I think this is wanted to be 40, especially with those last cards being ascent and descent, or descent and ascent. I think this is wanted to be burst and wanted to be burst in this way. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for the viewer who asked me about this and to share my story with this. I really appreciate the conversations we're starting to have on YouTube and on Instagram. And I really appreciate when some of you DM me and message me and give me some of the ideas that would interest you, because ideally, my goal here is to do twofold: share with you content that I personally find interesting or valuable to share with all of you, and also create a content that is interesting and of value to you as well. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and I wish you all to have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.